Welcome to Bibles on the Bench, where we take 5 Bibles and compare them, scripture by scripture. We have the English Standard Version, the New International Version, the American Standard Version, the 1984 version of the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures, and the 2013 version of the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. Tune in as we examine some scriptures in Bibles on the Bench. Tonight's scriptures. Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bibles on the Bench. And it's a sunny day today, so I had to change camera angle because all you can see is the sun behind my back, and that's never any good. So now it's on my face, so I look really bright. So anyway, as you know, we have the 5 Bibles, the 2013 New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures, the 1984 version of the translation of the New World Translation. What I wanted to note quickly is that the Bible committee that wrote this one and edited this one is totally different from the new one that wrote this one. This one was written by brothers that, the witnesses that adapted it from the earlier versions, the Green Dragon and that sort of thing. And this one is apparently done by computer for the translation. So, yeah. Anyway, you can look that up on other people's videos. We have the Holy Bible by the Gideons. Ooh, this really reflects this angle. That's the American Standard Version. We have the English Standard Version of just the New Testament, which I hope to get a full Bible of that. And we have the New International Version, which is my wife's Bible. So tonight, I'm used to filming this at midnight. So today I want to talk to you about, as you read the Bible, you're going to find that there's going to be certain scriptures in there that as you read across it, they seem really controversial, or may seem really controversial to you, depending on your own personal beliefs or you know, these sort of things. And I want you to, as you just maybe take some of this at face value as you read through it. Don't really form a formal opinion in your mind. Just get from Genesis 1:1 to the end of Revelation. Read it cover to cover, because you'll find that as you read through, a certain question might come up for you. But then as you read further beyond that point, the Bible will come up to something similar to that original question again. And you'll be able to work out the controversies. Now, these books, the Bible, is one of the hottest books on the planet. It's had the most production run of any book. But the thing is, there's a lot of topics in there which are controversial to many people. For example, there's a lot of murder in the Bible, and death and killing and revenge killing and things like this, that to many people is peaceful people. They're bothered by this because, of course, there's all this violence going on. There's a lot of sex happening, not only with lineages and people getting married and this sort of thing, but, you know, other things involving sex. The do's and don'ts of it. And things like Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, that's a hot topic for some people. There's also things about, you know, how husbands and wives should be treated and how women should be treated according to Apostle Paul. These sort of things. A lot of it are controversial to many people, and people view it as, you know, well, that's old, how people lived in the old days, and it's really horrible, and, you know, this sort of thing. And then there's other controversies which may be simple things like, you know, me being an ex-Jehovah's Witness. you read through and you think, well, they taught me this way, but then it really says this, so now you're having this kind of conflict. So my suggestion is just take a deep breath. If you come up to something and you read it and you're just like, oh, that really bugs me, just take a deep breath. Maybe you need more time. Maybe you're getting as red-tempered as Curious George's little shirt here. Maybe when you think of that, just think, okay, I need to take a break. I need to put this away for a bit. I need to go do something else that I enjoy. But make yourself this promise to come back to it and read it. And now, like, for people that are atheists, and maybe scientific atheists, you look at the Genesis account, and it'll be brief, and it'll say, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and it took 6 days to create everything. And don't look at everything literal, like there's a scientific thing, like the earth rotated 360 degrees, and that was 1 day in a rotation, and God just zipped this stuff up real quick, because the Bible doesn't really say how long God's day is, and this sort of thing. And science is delving to understand how all these things happened. So just take it sort of with a grain of salt. Just read it through, because it's a story. So you're getting the concept of the story. Things where they said the ark was made and a cubit is 18 inches, which is supposed to be from here to here, or something to this effect. And it was 400 cubits. You can't use that as a scientific measure. The other thing is, with some of these controversial things, like the Apostle Paul talks about women should be seen and not heard, and this sort of jazz, you have to stop for a minute and think, because a lot of words in the Bible have different meanings. And the only way to really find out what those meanings are is to actually go back to the original Greek, Hebrew, or Aramaic where the text is and compare it. Bible Hub is good for that because they'll give you the different words and you can pop that into your English translator. So you go like Hebrew word, copy, paste, drop in here, and then it'll pop out English what it meant. And some of the commentaries on Bible Hub will actually tell you what the apostles may have meant. Because the problem is, these Bibles... Oops, I'm making a mess here. These Bibles are all written. They're taken from the ancient manuscripts like the Dead Sea Scrolls and these sort of things that they found. Now, they're not in good condition. They're really poor. They've had 4,000 to 6,000, maybe even more years of just degrading in a jar somewhere before they were discovered and actually preserved. So even if you look at pictures of the Dead Sea Scrolls, you'll see that there's holes in certain sections. Now, no one is sitting here, like 10 Commandments comes up because a lot of religions still hold the 10 Commandments because they were good, love your God as yourself, don't hurt your neighbor, this sort of thing. The problem is no one was sitting there with Moses when he wrote them to check out version 1.1 of the 10 Commandments. As Moses was sitting there and writing down thou shalt not on the scribe in paper, no one has the gist of fully what Moses wrote. And a lot of the Bibles has a huge history. So you start off with it was written in the original languages. Then they translated it into Latin for the Catholic Church. And then from the Latin one, Martin Luther translated it into German so that the German people could have it. But Martin Luther discovered things that the Catholics were doing that they should have been doing. So his Bible has some changes that best suit the original text. And then, of course, King James had his committee to write the Bible, but it's all written in Shakespeare's tongue. Thou shalt not. And we lose what that meant because, again, a lot of colloquialisms got put in. Even probably when Moses wrote it, things that were the common. You go outside and you see a gazelle. Now you go outside and it's not a gazelle or whatever creature he's talking about. So when Moses says, thou shalt not eat of this cloven hoof animal, he's like, that one there, see? Whereas some of that is extinct. So we don't know what that thing is. Well, I guess we'll never break the law there because we won't be able to eat one. But, you know, this is the thing, and it's not just something simple as the Giselle, right? There's concepts that were in Hebrew and that got translated into Latin, that got translated into German, that got translated into English, and somewhere along the line these things are translated, which means a direct word for word. And other things where they had to transliterate, so they had to take a word that was like, you know, Giselle, and maybe put in deer or something to that effect in for Giselle. Now Giselle is lost, deer is replaced. So when you read the Bible and it says deer, well, Moses was never talking about a deer. These sort of things, and in other concepts. So you really have to read a bunch of these Bibles, take your pencil and paper, and do what I did there in the beginning, you know, and go through this thing, the Bible, and read it. And when you come into controversy, remember to stop, take a deep breath, try to think what was in the heads of these writers when they wrote it. Were they really being, you know, let's say sexist or whatever, and take it from there. And now, with this in mind, I want to say something. Bible's on the bench here. I'm not going to judge anybody when I read the Bible stuff, because I want to discover with you sort of behind what some of these Bible writers have written and this sort of thing, and work it out with you so that we kind of get some kind of understanding. Sometimes I'll leave the understanding to you, the viewer. Pardon the dry weather out here. It's hot days in summer. So here's some of the things that I'm getting at. When I was with the Jehovah's Witnesses, they had many books that they give you, and you read through them, and it'll say, oh, the scripture's this and the scripture's that. And then you go to your Bible and you read like the two scriptures they're talking about. And then you're supposed to from there go, oh yeah, that's the way it works. And, you know, husbands and wives are supposed to be in this scale, and wives are supposed to be below the husband, blah, 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 blah. And then when you actually read the Bible cover to cover, you find it's completely different from what they printed in these books. Sorry for the glare. This does work better at midnight, even though I'm tired. But yeah, that's the thing. And you really have to read that Bible cover to cover and get rid of these kind of little books that Watchtower has kicking around. The reason why I keep them, some of them are of some kind of merit. Reasoning from the scriptures is pretty good, but it'll give me a topic to talk about in Bibles on the Bench, which I want to really show you what the real deal is, because each time you read the Bible cover to cover, no one's going to remember everything about the scriptures and where they fall in. And sometimes you'll read it for the first time to get the gist of the story. And then when you read it again, you're reading a little more deeper because your mind is starting to open a little more to what's going on. And then the next time you read it, it's deeper again, and then it's deeper. And then you're discovering things that are, you know, you understand the workings of it. And I know a few people that have read the Bible. One guy's read it 7 times. Each time he reads it, he finds even more. And I know one gentleman that's a friend of mine here, that although he doesn't read different Bibles, he reads the same one over and over, and even he finds different things, and he makes notes every day, is what he's told me. But you know, you got things like what is the witnesses love this one. What is apostasy? Because they like to judge us ex-witnesses with that. You know that. What does the Bible say about the return of Christ? What does it say about faith? What does it say about the government? What does it say about sex? And again, these things. So, I want to make you guys the promise, Bible's on the bench, that I will try to read the Bible and make my points in sort of a neutral manner for you guys, as long as you promise me not to write really rude comments down below in the comment section. If you're getting angry, don't get angry with Bibles on the Bench, because I'm not trying to make you angry. I'm just trying to relate what's going on. And I've got a few topics that I want to discuss further on here, we are going to be talking about sex and sex and drugs and rock and roll. No, anyway, and things that'll seem to be a controversy to you. So let's just take deep breaths and go through it bit by bit, because the Bible is important, I feel, and it should be read cover to cover. People should have the understanding, because again, like I've stressed before, or said before, when I was Jehovah's Witness, they only read the scriptures they want you to know that support their doctrine. And this is true with other churches too. They want you to only read what they want you to read. And a lot of the Bibles, again, have been adapted to fit those concepts. So again, you have to look at Bible Hub and try to figure out what they're talking about. Because maybe your copy of the Bible you use might have something that was originally done by one of the other churches out there, and then just inserted there or tweaked a little so that that church doctrine fits exactly what's going on. So again, have a broad range of Bibles, see what people are saying, and make your own conclusions as to what the Bible translators are saying, because, pardon me, the scriptures, oof, getting a little gas there. The scriptures say to keep checking the Bible, make sure that it is true. Okay, so that's what we want to do on on the bench, and that's what the focus is. And again, I have to use my experiences as Jehovah's Witness, because when I was born, before I was born, my dad was a minister in the United Church, and he taught the Sunday schools. But somewhere in the mid to late 60s, they left the United Church. And so when I was born in 74, I didn't really get much of a religious upbringing, except for the fact that my dad used to read me the book of Revelation, of all the interesting things he could read me. And then of course, when I was 16, I went out, and it was that time period when I was going from junior high to senior high, and it was like a whole new school. And I met a Jehovah's Witness young man, I don't know, fellow student there. And what's the first book he brings out? Big fat red book from the Watchtower Bible Tract Society about Revelation, its grand climax at hand. And, you know, here I've got the memories from what my dad read me about Revelation, and I get into this, and then it seems like it's the true religion, and I end up in there for 7 years and find out that it's not the true religion. And I think, I wish I had that Revelation Grand Climax at hand book, because I've seen videos of it from other ex-witnesses, and it's really crazy. So I want to read it again for the craziness. And now that I've read the Bible cover to cover, I've read it twice, and now I'm reading the American Standard Version, and I'm already at the beginning of 2 Samuel. So I'm finding it really exciting. But yes, again, coming through controversies, cities that are getting destroyed for doing things, people that are doing wrong by God, and God punishing them directly, and things like this, which are very controversial. Like, you would think, okay, here's a loving God, why did he destroy these people? You know, these kind of questions. And so on Bibles on the Bench, I want to I'll be reading scriptures to you in future things here, and I want you to just process it, you know? Don't be mad or anything, just process it, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I know I don't have much space on the memory card here. I got to get a new one. But yeah, so last night at midnight I actually did this edition of Bibles on the Bench, and I kept talking about these things and all the stuff that I wanted to get through and blah blah blah, and then it went dee memory card full, and I hadn't finished my thought, so I had to refilm this. So my thought is, don't hate me personally, just bear with what we're reading in the Bible here, and we'll get through this together, and it'll be fun. Or fun. It'll be an interesting adventure. And the other thing is, now here's the thing about the Jehovah's Witnesses. I wonder if I'll get time to read this here. Let me just... Oh yeah, 19 minutes. Gives me 7 minutes. Okay, getting back to this thing with apostasy, right? This is one of the things that the Jehovah's Witnesses believe, that when you become an ex-Jehovah's Witness, you become this apostate, evil person who's given up on God, hates God, you know, like some of the people in the Bible actually did. And they just brand you. You're an apostate now. You might have gone in the Kingdom Hall and you said, you know, I read something about the Garden of Eden and they ate apples. Is that true? And all of a sudden the elders will be like, ooh, that's a Christendom, because they're scared of the Christian church. Eh? So they say, oh, that's this Christendom thought. And then they'll get you on this judicial committee, 3 elders ready to judge you, the good elder, good cop, the bad elder, bad cop, to question you, and the third guy is the guy writing all the notes to send off to the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society based on how you answered the questions. You know, dun 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 dun. He asked about the apple. Dun 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 dun. Get Judge Judy. You know what? You know, kind of nonsense. So then, after your question there, branded apostate. I hope the sun's not glaring that on your face. So you get branded into apostasy. Now here's the thing. Some identifying marks of apostates. They seek to make others their followers, thus causing sectarian divisions. Do. So, and then they're going to quote Acts. From among you yourselves, men will arise and speak twisted things. Twisted! And to draw away the disciples after themselves. Okay. What have I got here? Welcome to the Church of Bibles on the Bench? No. There's no church. I'm not asking you to join me in this crusade. Well, unless you're going to join me with the vast apostate army, which is our little XJW joke on Watchtower because of this type of garbage. That we are a vast, growing apostate army of people that are going against the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. But the funny thing about apostate basically means a person who has left. You can look this up on Wiki. And in fact, the JWs are in this section too. An apostate is a person who has left their original religious convictions to go do something else. Now, if you want to talk apostasy and actual somebody coming in and doing dissensions in the ranks and from amongst you yourselves rising up and drawing people away by twisting scriptures, take a look at Charles Taze Russell. Charles Taze Russell started out in... Oh, I wish I printed this off. My printer is out of ink. Started off in one religion. Came into an Adventist religion. Met Joseph Barber. And Adventists believe that Christ is coming, and dates when he's coming and all this stuff. And he got into this dates of when Christ is coming. So he apostatized from what his father believed, the original church, went into another Adventist church, met Barber. They had a conflict because one of the dates didn't come true. He apostatized from Barber, formed his own thing, which was the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. And then from there, you know, he didn't create the Jehovah's Witnesses, but it was on the road. And then he got into pyramidology, which is like measuring the pyramid to find out when the end was coming, because again, he believed this stuff. He got dates wrong, prophecies wrong. So when he died, we get Rutherford, Judge. They called him the judge not because he was legal. They called him the judge because he used to go around judging all the other brothers about the Watchtower guys, how good and how bad they were. And they nicknamed him the judge because he kept judging them. Anyway, the judge apostatized from what Russell taught. Now, Russell had a beard. Now, everybody wonders why you're not allowed to have a beard, and they figure, oh, it's because back in the 1960s, the Jehovah's Witnesses were going door to door, and so were the hippies. So they didn't want people thinking that the hippies, that was a fly, the hippies were Jehovah's Witnesses, because hippie and Jehovah doesn't go together, right? No, this is the real reason. Rutherford hated beards, and it was becoming the 1920s, and he wanted to modernize the look of people. And it's been documented that he has told people to shave their beards off. So it's not because they're hippies. It's because of apostasy of Judge Rutherford. And Rutherford believed, again, millions now living will never die, and all this other stuff. So when the next president came in, now I don't know, all these guys had an original religion, and they apostatized from that to become witnesses. And there's another thing. Rutherford stopped the Bible students, and there's a big schism right there of all the things that split off of the Bible students. Jehovah's Witnesses is not the true religion from Russell. It's one of the schisms, the off ones. And you can look this up by typing in all these people's names on Wiki and doing the searches. Rutherford, Russell. Anyway, so Rutherford changed the name of the International Bible Students Association to the Jehovah's Witnesses and added in the name Jehovah, which again is an apostate action if you think that he came from Russell. And then, now this millions now living will never die and all that stuff. So when the next president took over, Noor, I believe, he eliminated this millions now living will never die kind of thing and apostatized from Rutherford, who apostatized from Russell, who was the original apostate from the other churches because he led people into this Bible Student Association. So you see what's going on here, people? We're getting like a nice lineage of apostates running down the line until we get to the modern governing body, which, again, at one point in time, the faithful and discreet slave was Charles Taze Russell, the one person. Now you have 7 men who are apparently the faithful and discreet slave, giving the apportioned food at the right time. So again, we're getting into apostasy, which is controversy, which is, again, you need to read the Bible cover to cover to find out what and who are really teaching these things. Oh, memory card's about to run out, and I actually got my point across. So, again, don't get mad at Bibles on the Bench. Read through your Bible. Find things that are troubling to you, write them down, and as they get troubling to you, just sort of hold off in your brain, or in your mind, I mean, and keep that on pause over there. Read the rest of it, and maybe you'll find out that these two connected, and the answer comes clear, right? So that's all I have time to actually say, because my memory card's going to run out. So hope you enjoyed my discussion, and we'll actually get into some of the scriptures, and I want to get into some controversy, because so anyway, try to straighten out controversy and make it not so controversial. So yep, that's what we can get into. And remember, I'm not here to mislead you. I'm here to talk to you right out of the Bible. Okay? Out of 5 Bibles. To compare 5 Bibles so that you know what I'm talking about. If that makes any sense. And I'm kind of rambling here, but I'm just waiting for that to pop up and say memory card full. So, anyway, yeah. So I'll be referring this video to other videos, especially if we start off and I know I'm going to be telling you something that will be controversial. Because many people, if they don't read the Bible or know of it... Now, I'm not saying read the Bible to... Like, maybe you don't want... Maybe you've read it and at the end you don't want to believe in it. That's your own choice, okay? I'm not here to convert you. So, I'm just here to be that voice saying, read it. It's worth at least knowing what these people believe in, or what should be believed, or however you want to face it, because there's other religious books you could read too, and you could go that way. And I'm not here to say don't do it. So it's all up to you. It's your faith, your beliefs, maybe you want to go and believe in science. That's your choice. It's not to me. But all I want to do is just clarify, Bible's on the bench, this is what we're doing. So, what else can I say in the couple of seconds I got left? Peace be with you, and have fun, and enjoy life as you got it. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed this edition of Bible's on the Bench, because now I'm just going to stop it myself.